The Arvo Pärt Centre was founded in order to bring a home for my father's legacy. And together with him, we are going down that path of working on the materials. The archive, as well as activities that bring his music and the world around him to the audience. We are about 35 kilometers out of Tallinn in a pine forest. And that's all part of the story of being ready to be here. So you come to Estonia and you go out of town, you drive here, and then you still need to walk 5 minutes. And hopefully by the time you enter through the door, your inner pulse has reached a certain equilibrium where maybe you're ready to be open to thoughts and ideas of something at a level where it requires a certain inner calmness. This is where we get our first impression of the indoors. And our wonderful architects, Nieto Sobejana from Spain, they've graced us with their sweeping lines and interesting geometry. A building that has a lot of natural materials from wood and concrete and glass. And together it's in harmony with the forest and its surrounding areas. And we have a lot of courtyards that bring the lighting to the center of the building, and it also brings the forest floor to the middle of the building. In the architecture there are a number of elements that coincide with musical elements, but also with nature elements. So for example, the posts that we have in the courtyards and around the building, they are in the rhythm of tabula rasa, one of my father's pieces, but at the same time obviously they hold up the roof and their shape is in proportion of the trees in the surrounding area. So this is something that works together. Follow me to the exhibition area. I'd like to show you a little bit here about what we do. This is our exhibition space. The exhibition is a place where we have collected and captured some of these quotes that we find in his diaries that are in our archive here. And they are brought to us in this context. This building was conceived with a thought in mind to be open for everybody. That means that whoever comes in from the street to just have a look at the architecture, or for researchers or academics who would work in the library and have access to the archive, as well as for lovers of culture who would have a look at the exhibition or go to concerts. We have talks, there's a film that we show on a regular basis. At the same time, we are also very active in encouraging youngsters and young people to come from schools and universities. So now we'll go and have a look at our library. This is a space that brings all of the texts that surround my father's work into one place. This used to be the collection of home books at my parents' house. And they recently brought everything here when this building was set up. It gives us a very good idea on which books have been important for my father and his work. So on one hand we see here to the right books that cover art, music and history, including all the scores. But on the other side, everything here are liturgical books. And these are books that really serve as a basis for all of the music work and composition work that my father's doing. So I would like to show you a little bit more about the process of how a text ends up a composition. In our first publication, In Principio, we put together all the texts of all the compositions, starting from the beginning and going out chronologically. That we also translated into English, but in between it's this very interesting little section that shows a little bit of the graphical score work that Arvo likes to do. And if we look at this text and then compare it to the final score, we see how a comma is maybe a rest, a full stop is maybe 2 rests. Every syllable will have a note. An accident syllable might change in pitch. So these things are very closely related to each other. In these musical diaries, we have a number of quotes, and these are the very same quotes that we find in our exhibition, and these are the very same quotes that serve as a basis, as a foundation for my father's creative direction. This is a graphical score for the composition Te Deum. It's a piece that is about 30 minutes long, and here we have a harmonic layer, and here we have information about which choir is used. We've got mixed choirs, and then female and male choir. And at the same time we have a dynamic layer and different sections that are also connected to which texts there are. This graphical score is for the same composition. The text is divided into 17 sections. So obviously this section here is the climax, which is here. It gives Arvo a good idea, sometimes before he writes something, and then also sometimes in hindsight, in order to understand how the bigger picture worked out and if something needs to be addressed to make sure that it works the way it has. This is a dramaturgical view. This part of a library has also an extension that takes us a little bit further out. We can see here a chapel. It is in a traditional Greek architectural style, and this is a place where readers from the library can take a book or 2, or not, and have a moment of silence or inspiration. And in the same courtyard from the chapel where we are here right now, we can also see a glimpse of the tower here to your right. A tower, the place that might not serve a very functional purpose at first, but in actual fact would be a direct extension to what the centre is all about. And we hope that by going up the tower and having a look, it provides a glimpse of distance and hope and inspiration to those who visit us.